Hello!
Hello, I'm Cathy.
I'm Rachel.
Welcome to Lunabird Book Club.
This week I am super excited because you all know that I'm a massive Wheel of Time fan, and I'm wearing a Wheel of Time top today just for this video because season 2 has very recently finished, and this is the first opportunity that Cathy and I have been able to get together to talk about how it worked as an adaptation of The Great Hunt, book 2 of the Wheel of Time, the character arcs, and just our overall thoughts on the series. So Cathy, my first question for you is, did you like season 2 of the Wheel of Time?
I did like season 2 of the Wheel of Time.
Nice.
I thought it was quite a step up from season 1. The pacing was better. There were fewer plot holes. I would say. I would say. I thought it was really good. And just, I think the cast performance is amazing.
Stepped up, yeah.
I mean, there's been nothing wrong with them, but like this, I think they had more to work with this season. And I think that showed. And yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
Did you enjoy it?
Well, here's the thing. I am not capable of thinking critically about the time. So I'm watching the show and I'm just like, yes! So yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a great series of television. Loved every single moment of it. Well, not every single moment of it, but I had a great time watching it. And yeah, I feel like it was just a really good piece of television. Yeah,
I think the look of it is looking really good. Sometimes I keep asking myself, would I be invested in this as a piece of television without being invested in the books? And I'm really not sure on the answer to that, because like I do think it looks good and I think the cast have given really good performances. But sometimes I think I'm enjoying it because I'm enjoying seeing the page to screen.
Yeah.
I wonder, because some of the wheel time is slow. And I think sometimes it slows down in this, and we're not fully tapped into all of our main characters' motivations yet. So I wonder if I'd be struggling to enjoy it as much if I wasn't a fan.
Understandable. Again, I am also not capable of like having that outside perspective and saying, would I enjoy this if I hadn't read the books? But I know I have a couple of friends who haven't read the books and who have been watching it because I annoyed them into it. And every week, sometimes they're a bit confused and they'd ask me questions and I'd like give them non-spoilery answers, I hope. And now one of them is, after the series finished, he bought Eye of the World, has already finished it, and is now reading Great Hunt.
After this series finished?
Yeah. He sent me a message and he was like, I'm really enjoying this book. Like, I read like 200 pages over the weekend. Nothing is happening, but I really like it.
That is a Wheel of Time experience.
That is the Wheel of Time experience. Let's start talking about the characters in the show and their arcs. So we'll start with the main man, Rand. What do you think of Rand, this series?
Okay, I liked... what I really appreciated, which I think is a change from the books, is that Rand is a bit more proactive in this part of the Wheel of Time story. So if I remember rightly, in the book, he's still kind of like, I'm going to run away from all my problems and just keep running and hope nobody catches up with me. And he is doing a bit of that, but in this, like when we first see him, he has run to somewhere where he has a chance of learning about how to control the power.
Yeah, with Logan.
Yeah. So I'm like, ooh, proactive. I like it. And I quite liked also that where you jump in and he's in a relationship with this mysterious woman.
Selene.
Yeah. I like diving straight into that too.
Yeah,
I quite liked Rand standing up for himself a bit more. I did have one niggle about his characterisation towards the end.
I feel like you mentioned it to me. Something about Lanfear coming and destroying the carrion.
Yeah, so near the end of the series this season, Rand asks Lanfear for help so that he can go and rescue Egwene. So Lanfear turns up to the city where Rand's a captive and just like causes devastation, blasts people with fire, all the Aes Sedai coming out to fight a huge big battle scene, all to get Rand to safety. And I feel like Rand must know that's going on. Now I think the Rand that we know and love would have major issues with that.
Probably, yes.
He would not be okay with civilians taking the hit to get him rescued, because that's one of like the key things of who Rand is. He just he can't stand the loss of life. So I found it weird that happened and he never mentioned it, which is like a superhero film trope, isn't it? Where like towards the end, like there's a big battle scene, loads of civilians must be perishing in like skyscraper battles or road traffic chases, and the superheroes
don't care.
What about you? What did you make of Rand?
Well, obviously his arc is very different to what happens in Great Hunt, because in Great Hunt we start in Faldara and then the horn and the dagger are stolen and then they chase it across the country, and Rand didn't do that in this book. He just bamfed there at the end. But I feel like it was, obviously we can't do everything, so I think it was a good way to establish his starting to accept himself and accept his power, like you said. I liked when Muirin arrived, I liked the way that their trust developed.
Yes, I forgot about that. I love that too.
So yeah, I feel like it was a good setup for their relationship going forward. So in the book, Rand is on the hunt for the horn.
Yeah.
But in the show, who was hunting for the horn? Can you remember?
Perrin.
It was Perrin. I feel like we didn't see a lot of Perrin during the show.
Yeah, and there was no explanation for why Perrin in particular was chasing after the horn. Was there?
Not really. I suppose you like take it as read that obviously Rand has died. The girls have gone to the tower. What else would Perrin do?
Yeah.
Probably, I mean, his wife is dead, so there's nothing for him back home.
Yeah, that's true.
So what else would he do? You know what? Now that you've said that, I'm like, why did Perrin go?
Unless maybe because they know it's Padan Fain. I think is he really like in it to stop Padan Fain because
maybe, yeah. And I suppose Loyal's there as well, and he's buddies with Loyal now.
Yeah. And I really like that. We didn't get to see him for long, but like the troop that Perrin's hunting the horn with right at the beginning, I quite like them instantly.
I love the Shienarans. I love. I mean, I haven't read Great Hunt in ages, so I'm like, I don't even know what happens in Great Hunt the book or not, but I love the Shienarans. And I think my main grievance with the show, I've spoken to other book fans who like disagree with me on this, but like in the last episode, the Shienarans, when they were in the city, and Ingtar, they were in that small alley, and Ingtar was like, oh, one man could hold 50 here, and I was like, yes, yes! and then they went into a bigger street, and he tried to hold 50, and he immediately got killed without having any conversations whatsoever. And I stood up, and I was like, what is going on? What is going on? Where is the redemption? I just said at the beginning that I couldn't think critically about the Wheel of Time.
It's coming out.
That's my one criticism of the show. I don't care about anything else that they've changed. I'm just really, really sad about Ingtar because I just love him. And I love that character trope of someone trying to redeem themselves.
Yeah.
I love a redemption arc.
And I loved Uno.
Oh, yeah.
Like, again, very different to how it goes down in the books, but I liked him from the beginning being really outspoken. Mm-hmm. I felt like his stand was in character of him, and then when he turns up at the end as a hero,
that was cool.
Like that just pleased me. I was so happy with that. I wasn't expecting it, and
neither was I. But again, it's a change that I'm perfectly content with.
Yeah.
But Ingtar dying like that, it's a dagger to the gut.
Is it just we can hold them here in the street and then just total to a while?
Right, it was so silly. Like, yeah, you could have held them in that street. Why didn't you? You didn't buy them any time. They were all still there, and so you die. Rant over. Okay. It's the last criticism I'm going to make. Speaking of the Horn of Vllo, what do we think of Matt?
Okay, I think Matt is performed brilliantly. Mm-hmm. And the moment I knew that I was going to like Matt was when he was locked up in the tower.
It was like the first episode.
Yeah, because then Leandrin comes and she locks the door behind her and he minds.
Yeah, that was cool.
The moment he did that, I was like, oh, that's Matt.
Yeah.
I feel like I wanted more of Matt. Mm-hmm. And I feel also like I think Matt's story throughout season 2 was a bit confused. Mm-hmm. I kind of get that. I think the redemption arc they're going for is like Matt ran away last time and he's worried that he's always going to be somebody who runs away and abandons his friends and he's not comfortable with being that. But he didn't really get much opportunity to have that really tested until the end. He's just a bit driven, like he's a prisoner, then he escapes with Maine, what's he going to do? He doesn't really know.
Yeah.
They're going to wander around Min's leading him into some kind of trap unwillingly. Then he gets kidnapped by the Forsaken. So it's not until the very last episode that Matt's like, hey, there's a thing I want to do. I'm going to go do a thing. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I like it when characters have a goal that they're trying to get to and they might get, they might reach obstacles, they might get distracted, they might lose sight of what they're about. But I find it quite frustrating watching characters who don't have a goal.
Do you think Matt starts to get his goal when he meets back up with Rand.
Yes, I do. Oh, on their reunion.
Oh, it was great. Oh, that was great. When he like held his head and he made fun of his head.
I enjoyed that. Yeah, in fact, I think the series is stronger whenever you get any of the 5 interacting with one another. And actually, I remember in the book saying to you more like, I want them to be together again.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever that happens, I think that's when the show kind of comes more alive, and I think they need to engineer more situations to keep the characters together for longer.
I feel like I'm gonna jump out of characters now and talk about the ending on the top. I thought that was a little bit cheesy, but I really liked that it was like a representation of them coming together as a unit and working together and filling each other's weaknesses, and then like that last shot of them all on the tower at the end, like it's like it's their story now.
Yeah.
Moiraine's got them here and now she's pushing them out, and now they're ready to go.
Yeah. I actually like them coming together. I like that the tower was the meeting pot for them all being together. And
I did like it. I just thought I thought when Perrin came in with the shield, I just thought that was really cheesy.
Do you know what? I was so into it. I just accepted it, and I was like, yeah. And then Gwen standing up. Yeah. Oh, we need to speak to her about her. Anyway, but yeah, I loved the top of the tower scene, and then I just want. This is nitpicky. So it was good. It was powerful. I can see why they ended it there. I wanted one more scene of falling action where they kind of talk to one another. Because I have a fear that when they start season 3...
everyone's going to be separated again.
Yeah, it's going to be like, Rand's gone this way, Perrin's gone this way, the girls have gone that way. And we're off onto the next adventure.
I hadn't thought about that, but now that you've said that, I am concerned.
I really think they'll do that again. Oof. And I get why, because you spring load it in. But I feel like I watch the show because I love those guys. And I think we need to see them interacting a bit with one another, and perhaps saying out loud to one another, we all know the last battle is coming. Because they're not really fully acknowledging that at times. Do you know what I mean?
Do they acknowledge that in the books?
Oh, maybe.
Everyone's so stupid and doesn't talk to each other.
Yeah, no, they don't. But to make a TV show a bit more enjoyable...
yeah, you're right.
I want them to talk to one another and be like, this is the big thing we're all dealing with. A bit like in Game of Thrones. They've got the winter coming, or the White Walkers, and they've got like who's going to be in charge of the throne, and those are 2 things that all our characters are either battling between. I'd like our 5 to like have a conversation together of like
a common goal.
Yeah, a common goal, and it doesn't matter if they split up afterwards, but I think they need to have this acknowledgement of we're in this together even if we have to split up. I want that to happen because, as I'm ranting now, the Forsaken keep getting it. So like the Forsaken keep having these great conversations together.
Some great conversations. All the Issue and Lamphere content this season was top tier. Loved it all.
Do you like the Forsaken representation?
Yeah, I really like it.
Me too.
I really like that we're getting like them being fleshed out so early on.
Yeah.
And how spooky was Megadian at the end?
I loved that. She was one of my favourite in the books as well.
She's really funny to read.
They keep getting really great scenes where they talk to one another, kind of express, we're kind of aligned here and we're different here, and they have like these little things. I want our 5 main characters to have that too. Or 6 if you count Marine. Does Marine count in the 5? I don't know, I've always counted.
No, it's Emmonsfield 5, so it's 5, but then there's also Elaine at the end at the top of the tower.
Yeah, Elaine too. So I want those guys to have the same kind of tactical conversations, how it would be for them, as our Forsaken have, because I feel like that would be a good mirror. Because at the moment it just feels like they're going, ah! Like just being flung from one thing to the next. Which again
is a bit more agency.
Yeah, which again is probably book accurate, but this is how I want it.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Gwen?
Yeah, sure.
Because she was my favourite part of this series, I think. Like, I think the storyline, actually throughout, but once she gets kidnapped, that to the end, I don't think I'd change a single thing. And I think it went beyond what I could have expected from it. Yeah. You have any thoughts?
I just liked it. I liked everything. I really liked it. I think it was in the first episode when they're having that lesson with Alana in the kitchen. And she's like, "Oh, Egwene, you're so talented," and Egwene's like beaming or whatever. And she says, "Oh, Nynaeve's even better." Her face just dropped, and I was like, "Yes, Maddie, that is amazing." But I like that we had such a focus on Egwene trying to get better at the tower, and like we had that moment of, oh, Nynaeve is better than me and I don't like that, and Elaine pointing out her being jealous because then when she's with the Sean-chan, Renna says to her something like, oh, did the tower not why has nobody told you that you're the greatest thing in the world or whatever. And that's what Egwene wants. She wants to be the best. She wants to be told that she's the best, but in these conditions, like, it would be very easy for her to be like, oh wow, yes, yeah, I'm what you want, give me this praise. And obviously it's I say it would be easy for her to do that, but I mean, I know that she is a slave and that's not easy, but like, she could very easily give in and say, well, this is my life now where I am going to be celebrated for my power, but she doesn't give in to that. Do you know what I mean?
I think one of her, she's like got two defining characteristics in where like she is powerful and she wants to be powerful, but also she has this huge capacity to learn, which, because I feel like Wheel of Time is a book about cultures, and every culture has its beliefs and its practices and its ways, and they often clash against other cultures because of that. And Egwene's one of the few characters who can move from culture to culture because she learns. She has learned to be more powerful. She must be humble and teachable and learn even while she's a slave. She's clocking everything and figuring out how are they doing this. What you know, their way of thinking means that they can unlock this. Well, I can unlock
she's
this
very open-minded, isn't she?
I think that's coming across really strongly.
Do you know what? Now that you've said that, I'm thinking in my head about like identity and things like that, and the fact that she has such a strong sense of self that it doesn't matter about where her identity is, which is why it's so easy for her to be in all these other cultures. Like, she takes them all on, she takes pieces from them from everywhere, but because she's got such a strong sense of herself, and I think part of that does come from, part of that is just being from Emmonsfield, because they're stubborn in Emmonsfield, but having gone through this period with the Sean-chan where she's just alone in her room being tortured. Very, like, you have to be so strong within yourself to not let that break you. So I feel like that iron within her allows her to be in these other cultures and not like resist to it, because she knows within herself that she is strong and she can take these things on and still be her. Does that make sense?
No, I think that comes across really that's really good insight into the character.
Let's talk about Aviendha now. Now, Aviendha isn't introduced in book 2, she's introduced in book 3. And Aviendha isn't introduced in the way that she was introduced in the show. That's Gaul, who is also introduced in book 3. So I can understand why they've brought the Aiel forward. There are a couple of Aiel in book 2. I think it's Uriel, is that a guy?
I don't know.
That Rand and Co. Or the party where Rand is in the portal world, they meet some Aiel who are looking for the Korrigan. So it is established that the Aiel are out here looking for their chief of chiefs. But I think it was a good way for them to introduce Aviendha earlier on, because she is a big player. Later on, I'm sad that Gaul isn't here, but I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll be on the scene at some point. But yeah, what did you think about the Aiel in the show?
I think it's good. I think it's quite. I'm happy for them to be on the fringe and quite mysterious still at this point, because we had enough to take in with like the tower politics and Moiraine's family, and then. How do you say? I used to call him Sean.
I say Sean-chan.
Sean-chan.
I don't know. Shall we look in the glossary?
I feel we just had enough to be getting on with learning about different cultures and ways and stuff. And it's quite cool to have some mysterious ginger ninjas just on the fringe of the story. So I really liked them. And Aviendha, I liked that even their sense of humour was coming through. How like she would laugh at that stuff that would make Perrin uncomfortable.
Wetlanders. Perrin's wolf out at the end when Hopper was killed. How did you feel about that? Like the whole White Cloak sequence? Because in the book it's a little less. Well, it's not that at all. It's just the White Cloaks are there.
In the book it's kind of like, so he kills the White Cloaks because they've killed Hopper, who's attacked them because the White Cloaks were coming to...
threatening Perrin and Egwene.
So in that sense, when I read that sequence, I'm always a bit like, Perrin was kind of justified. Because they're just two people camping out and they're being attacked by a band of soldiers with no cause and no faith at all that these people will hold just... I mean, they've got torturers on staff. So I'm like,
It's not the one.
I don't feel there's much of an ethical dilemma from my point
Oh
of view.
no, definitely
But
not.
the way it's presented here,
Mm-hmm.
it's not as clear cut as that, is it? Because
You are right. Now that you have said that, you are right. I really liked it though. You read it and you're like, well, you're wrong. You are in the wrong. But in the show, I suppose Dane is in the right. He has like, I felt like it made it more personal, and I feel like the conflict in future seasons is going to be more interesting because of that. So I don't have an issue with it. I really liked it.
No, so I think the change, in some ways, that change has made the rest of what could happen make a lot more sense than it does in the books.
Yeah.
Because in the books, Perrin's like really aggrieved. I killed these white cloaks. Like they were attacking you.
I suppose, but at that point in the book, like he is just like an innocent guy, isn't he? He's just an innocent country guy, and then he's killed 2 people, and he's like, "Whoa, I'm a murderer! I'm a murderer!"
But in this instance, it's a lot more complicated because he was attacked by one rogue white cloak who probably should not have been attacking him. But then he killed a separate white cloak who had then, every scene that guy had been in up to then, had portrayed him as like a righteous man of like, nobody else has come to rescue these people, we shall come and rescue them. Yeah, I know he had like stuff against the Aes Sedai and so on, witches, and doesn't trust them, but he was also very much like, this city is under attack and nobody's come to help them. We're the army of light, we need to do our duty. And then Perrin kills him.
Speaking of the white cloaks, the bit where they brought in all that smoke and mist, were those children? I've only watched the finale once. They were actual children.
I think they were children,
Children lowercase c.
Yeah.
Because the way I viewed it, and like, obviously everyone's open to their own interpretation, but they made all that smoke, and then we didn't see them again, but the white cloaks like charged in.
Yeah.
Did they charge over those little kids?
Oh, I assumed the little kids made the smoke and then ran away, and then when the smoke was billowing, then they charged.
I am choosing to keep my interpretation correct because like that's messed up, man. Because in the book, there's this bit in the books where some children have just been killed, not necessarily by the white cloaks, but they haven't done anything to stop it. But then someone makes a point of saying Perrin killed children with a capital C, and it's like, we cannot abide the deaths of children with a capital C, as in like children of the light, but they didn't do anything to stop the murder of children with a lowercase c. And I'm like, oh, every time I read that I'm like, oh.
I totally missed that.
Like it's not like explicitly laid out that way, but whenever I read it I'm like
oh. We should probably talk about Lan.
Probably, yeah.
How would you feel about Lan's portrayal?
In the book, he's not the focus. And we never really get in his head until later on. At the beginning, he is very much a side character of a side character, labelling Moiraine as a side character because we've got the main 5.
Yeah.
So I think there's always a little air of mystique about him, and he is a very mysterious character anyway. I just felt like at times in those first few episodes we were spending a lot of time on Lan, and I don't think there was a lot of payoff for that. I felt like it was dead time at places where we could have been establishing, we could have been with Matt a bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe Matt could have been released a bit earlier.
Yeah.
And done something more with Min and Carrion or something.
Yeah.
If we hadn't spent so much time with Lan.
It was a lot of Lan brooding. And I feel like brooding works best in small doses. Also, I'd have to check it again to find out, but I think one of Lan's scene had like the clunkiest bit of exposition in at one point. Just when he's with the Green Archer lady and her 2 warders.
On the bit about Lanfear?
Yeah, when they're about to camp and Lan's like, isn't this like a Forsaken place? And suddenly goes something like, yes, the Forsaken were the best generals of the Dark One long ago, but they're all gone now. It just felt like a really like, this is to remind the audience if we haven't said it explicitly enough recently. And that made me giggle. But yeah, I feel like my favourite Lan scene was when he tried to coach Rand a little bit before he saw the Amelin scene.
Yeah, that was nice.
That I could have done with more of that.
Going forward, what do you think season 3 is going to have in store?
I can't remember what happened in book 3 at all.
So book 3 is So Rand runs away. So we start with the group separated. So the girls are going with Matt to the tower to get him healed. He's already healed in the show. And then Perrin, Moiraine and Lan follow Rand across the country to Tia, where he goes to get the sword that is not a sword, and meets up with all the Aiel. But we already know the Aiel now. Yeah. So... And like I feel like Avienda acknowledged the Coruscant at the end, right? Yeah. Like she saw Rand and was like, oh, the Coruscant. So maybe we don't necessarily need that. I feel like getting Calendor is going to be less important than it is in the book. I feel like it could happen in like 2 episodes as opposed to the whole season. And then maybe we head straight to the Ruidian. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love that. If that happens, I'd be on board for that. Because I feel like we're beyond the stage now where Rand will just run away. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a bit annoying in the book because like he was gone for so long. But it is quite fun that he goes from village to village and either like crazy good things happen or crazy bad things happen. I feel like they haven't established the Tavern world enough to get away with that at this stage. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean.
They kind of ignore that sometimes, and occasionally they'll all say, Tavern. That's as far as we get. So yeah, maybe we focus more on the Aiel this time. Yeah.
And I think Perrin is going to the 2 rivers.
Oh.
I think.
Okay.
Because Perrin in book 3 follows Rand to the stone, meets Fael. Oh my god. I'm sorry, she's been cast. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's happening.
She's been cast. And I think that's why I think the White Cloak stuff was really good this series, because I think that's setting up next series the conflict with Dane and Perrin.
Yeah.
I felt like it gave Dane more of a personal agenda in the next series, as opposed to just like you've just heard some guy randomly say it, you know?
Yeah. I think Elaine and Rand's romance will begin. Because he had that
meet cute at the end.
Who are you that's healing me?
Elaine. I thought Kira was really cute as Elaine. I really liked Elaine.
Because I think Elaine's quite a hard character to make likeable and fun. You know, like she's a princess. She's a princess who's good with the power and who the main character is going to fall in love with instantly. So like she has a lot going against in terms of how do you make a likeable character in this day and age.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at the fact that Egwene and Elaine met and Elaine was like, you're my subject. Sorry, it's hard to make her likeable in this stage.
But I feel the TV show so far has made her likeable because they focused in on her and Egwene and given that time to grow. Yeah, and he was sort of like, you are my subject, technically.
And I like that Nynaeve was very resistant to her, but they still worked together.
Yeah.
And they were so useless. The show was perfect in every conceivable way.
It's really enjoyable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really good fun. Yeah, I look forward to seeing season 3. Guys, we've talked for about an hour about Wheel Time, and we're going to have to stop because like I have to go do the school run really soon.
So I can't help it, I'm so sorry, I just got really excited.
No, and I feel like we left those out. We didn't really even talk about like Nynaeve properly or Moiraine.
No, we didn't.
Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this and you like lots of book talk and you like lots of enthusiastic talk about Wheel of Time, please do like and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every Friday. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
You're about to get trampled by horses?
This time it's going to be absolutely perfect.